Zoboomafoo.
It's the Kratt Brothers.
While walking in the woods one day, Chris and Martin saw something strange. A little leaping lemur who liked to bounce and play. They followed their new bouncing friend, not knowing where this adventure would end. The animals were headed just around the bend.
Where are they going?
I don't know.
How did we get there?
Come on, let's go. Me and you and Zoboomafoo. Come along and see what's new. We're doing the things that animals do. New animal friends to see. Animal Junction's the place to be.
Elephants charging, baboons are leaping. Wild dogs running and nobody's sleeping.
Me and you and Zoboomafoo. Come along and see what's new. We're doing the things that animals do. Me and you and Zoboomafoo. Come along and see what's new. At Animal Junction, we're waiting for you.
Zoboomafoo.
Me and you, Will. Me and you were the Zoboomadudes.
That's right. Well, but there's somebody else.
Oh, right. Who? It's at the tip of my tongue. Who's that
Me and
other
you.
guy?
Me and you.
Me and you and Arthur. No.
Fred, no.
No.
But, no.
Drill.
Zoboomafoo.
Hey!
There it is. And of course, why wouldn't it be? Well, welcome to Zoboomadudes, the episodic Zoboomafoo podcast, where we are talking about the classic PBS children's series, Zoboomafoo, episode by episode. My name's Will Young, your stalwart Zoboomafoo enthusiast, and with me is my cohort, the Chris to my Martin would be Lucas Mancini.
Honorary Kratt brother himself, Lucas Mancini, reporting for duty, broadcasting live from Animal Junction. Glad to see you here, Will.
The Kratt pack is in full effect here. And Zoboomafoo nowhere to be found. But yeah, we're going to be talking about another episode of PBS's Zoboomafoo, which this one was able to find on the official Zoboomafoo YouTube channel. So
very easy. Doesn't matter if you're in Canada, America, wherever. You could see every episode of Zoboomafoo online legally for free. So check them out.
That's right. So today we're talking about the Zoboomafoo episode, Horses.
Wait, we'll do it again. 3, 2, 1. Horses.
That's right. Lucas, we've been talking about this for 28 episodes. I never get tired of it. Like
I like to think there's some sort of spirits that, like someone died or was like murdered a very, very long time ago in Animal Junction, and so their spirit is sort of tied to this astral plane.
Cursed to say the names of episodes.
Because that's what it sounds like. It sounds like there's some sort of ghosts infesting Animal Junction that need to remind us what animal we're going to be talking about today.
That's right.
Horses.
And of course, hey Lucas, we've been doing this for almost a year, but I just got to go back to it again, like the Zoboomafoo theme song.
So the first thing I realized, I know you'd think I would have noticed this the first 27 times we watched this show.
Yeah.
But the first thing I noticed immediately is like, wow, when I was a kid, I didn't realize this show was shot on cheap digital cameras, but like almost immediately, it looks like just from a pure like HD perspective, I never realized this is shot on like consumer grade digital cameras.
Well, you can tell that the outdoor shots are
specifically the outdoor shots,
a much lesser quality than when we get into Animal Junction, which you kind of told me. Like I came to you earlier in the week and I was like, "What do you think Animal Junction is that they got all of these animals?" And you're like, "Dude, it's a set. They just bring them in." And I'm like, "Oh yeah." And then they just film wherever else because, of course, the Kratt Brothers are globe trotters.
Well, okay, so let's get into it. This opening shot of Zoboomafoo leaping, he's the leaping lemur, of course.
That leaping lemur.
Our titular Zoboomafoo. I think that's like the only shot they have of Zoboomafoo in its natural environment.
Right.
Because they use that one piece of footage of Zoboomafoo leaping over and over. And like whenever Zoboomafoo's going from point A to point B, not in Animal Junction, it's the one shot from the theme song.
Well, they call Zabu in and he's like in the woods somewhere. So I'm pretty sure they shot that. But of course, then they had to get the lemur into the studio. So...
Speaking of that theme song.
That's right. So... It's very good at explaining what the show is all about. While walking through the woods one day, Chris and Martin, the Kratt Brothers, who also had their TV show Kratt's Creatures. So this is not their first time around the bend for children's TV. Kratt's Creatures, I've been trying to think for the last 27 weeks what that show is called.
Yeah,
I just remembered.
I still have not seen it after 27 weeks of watching Zoboomafoo. I've never seen Kratt's Creatures.
Why would you need to?
It doesn't have Zoboomafoo. My little buddies. It doesn't have any leaping lemurs on Kratt's Creatures. Just creatures.
Certainly not. They followed their new bouncing friend, not knowing where the adventures would end, and the animals followed them. Where they were going, they didn't know, and how did they get there? Come on, let's go. And assumedly, Zoboomafoo led them to Animal Junction.
I wonder. It's like kind of a chicken and the egg scenario. Like,
Which
what
came first,
the
Animal Junction?
Animal Junction or the Kratt Brothers? Like, did they build Animal Junction or was it already there?
Well, see, I think that Zoboomafoo was aware of the fact that food can turn him into an intelligent creature.
Oh, we're getting way ahead of ourselves.
So,
here.
well, I don't think so because I mean,
That's true. We have talked about this 27 times already.
That's
the
right.
The internal logic of why Zoboomafoo turns from a lemur into some sort of puppet that has human intelligence.
Listen, we got into it way big in the second episode, so I don't think we need to retread ground here, but it's just like, yeah, food turns Zoboomafoo into an intelligent animal who can speak, who can grab things, like just very, very human.
Who's still kind of an idiot, though.
Oh, yeah, very much so.
Like, we're using the term intelligent in the loosest way possible.
Maybe,
like,
what's the word I'm looking for?
He can
sentient.
Sentient, yes. He becomes able to communicate with English, and that's just about it.
Yeah.
Also, I want to point out the other thing that's in Animal Junction is some sort of Star Trek-like replicator, which produces Zoboomafoo's food.
Well, it's like I've seen this show so many times. It's escaping me right now. I can't think of what that food thing is called, but there's all kinds of different slots for food. I remember I loved that as a kid because I was all about food.
Yeah.
And just like, look at all the different foods. And there's like one for Martin, and there's one for Chris, there's one for Zoboomafoo, and like Martin's is like Cheetos or something.
Oh, see, I didn't get a good look. And you'd think I'd been able to see it the last 27 episodes.
Mine would be like crushed up Oreos or something.
Oh, mine would be like a pancake or something. Like
a pancake in like a tube? Like how would you dole that out?
Oh, that is a bad idea. You gotta let me. You put me on the spot here.
It's all good. It's all good.
So we get the ghosts tell us what the episode is. It tells us what animal we're talking about, and then the Kratt Brothers arrive on the scene. And listen, I know this is well-worn comedy territory.
Yeah.
To point out that hosts of children's television show sometimes sound like they're on drugs, okay?
Yes. Yep.
Like, I get it. It's like, oh, the guy from Blue's Clues, he's like stoned, or he's in college. But guys, come on. The Kratt Brothers, it's more than them just kind of talking with this. In children's shows, the adult hosts usually have a specific manner of speaking where they're like, hey, what's going on? I'm talking to a kid.
You have to project positivity.
But there's like an extra layer of California with the Kratt Brothers that just sounds like, they've been smoking some of that grass on the way to Animal Junction, some of that sweet, sweet animal grass. Because, like, I think it's the use of the word bro. And also, I think they have an accent like they are from California because they're just like, "Oh, what's going on, bro? It's me, it's Chris and Martin, man." Like,
I think it's a little bit toned down from that. It's not quite, it's not like gnarly, dude. It's not like
it's almost there though. Sometimes,
but it's not. But it's not like full Michelangelo from the Ninja Turtles.
I feel like it's like three steps back from Michael.
No, it's not.
It's not full on, but like they do kind of have a little bit of a just like. It's more than like Steve from Blue's Clues or whatever. They're just like, we're the Kratt Brothers. I don't know. I got a very specific California vibe. It might just be their whole look too. The work boots with the white socks poking out and the like baggy grunge t-shirts.
I could totally believe that they are from California. They look like the kind of guys like, and that's not a negative. Just like that would like to surf. They just kind of have. I don't know, just that air about them. So I mean, you're right. I just don't think that it's like they're not like like shaka bra. They're not like that.
I mean,
bad.
the first sounds you make, they get pretty close later on in this episode. So they arrive on the scene. The second thing I notice after the digital cameras filming the outdoor shots is that I never realized this before, but almost all of the dialogue on this show is ADR'd in post. Like they didn't. record any of the dialogue on set, or if they did, they recorded very, very little of it. Almost all of the spoken dialogue in this show, of course for Zoboomafoo, because he's a puppet. Spoilers, kayfabe breaking. Yeah. Zoboomafoo is a puppet. But the Kratt Brothers themselves, like whenever they're speaking, it's them talking in a studio, like matching that dialogue to the footage they already shot.
I don't think it happens as much as you're letting on. It does happen, but like
it's like the whole show, dude.
No, it's not the whole show.
More than I'm used to.
It's like when they're not on camera, like you can tell.
It totally happens when they're on camera.
No,
too.
it doesn't.
It does. It totally does. I'll show you after the podcast, but it like absolutely totally does.
I don't think so.
To the point where I thought it was noticeable.
Because I noticed when the ADR was happening, and a lot of it was like when none of them were on the screen or like their face was turned away. And like, I don't know, but that's not to say it doesn't happen. It definitely does. So they enter into Animal Junction. They're moving, they're bucking a bale of hay and moving like a thing of oats. And then Martin trips over a felled tree that somehow ended up in the Animal Junction without destroying any of the walls. So I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? Now that I think about that, how did that tree? There's so many questions. Like, first off, where is Animal Junction on the global
studio?
Well, sure, but like, you know, if we were going to talk about some other show, like let's say, for example, Arthur, right?
No, like
a lot of people ask questions,
like The Simpsons,
or The Simpsons, or Arthur. You know, '90s cartoons. A lot of people wonder where is Springfield.
Wait, what's Arthur?
Oh, it's a show I used to watch on PBS like after Zoboomafoo was on when I was a kid. Just don't worry about it.
Yeah, I don't think I ever.
But like, for example, The Simpsons, people are like, "Where's Springfield in the world? Where's Animal Junction? Is it in Africa? Is it in the continental United States?"
Well, it's theoretically somewhere where all of these different types of animals from the entire show all live, and they can just mosey in whenever they want to.
Maybe it's like the TARDIS, where like Animal Junction just goes to the... We see it as the animals going to Animal Junction, but it's actually Animal Junction going to the animals.
Oh, okay, I like it.
And that's how it teleported where the tree, like... I'm trying to make sense of this with some sort of internal logic.
Understand. The TARDIS actually makes a bit more sense than you would initially think.
Also, again playing into the California vibe of the Kratt Brothers. When they see this tree, one of them goes, "Whoa, where did this come from?"
There is a lot of like, "Whoa!"
They're very bewildered.
Yeah, they're very in awe of the world around them, like kids, like how a studio executive thinks that kids act. But of course, they have another TV show under their belts for kids, so I think that they know their audience pretty well. Then they call Zabu, and
how do you feel about the nickname Zabu as short for Zoboomafoo?
I mean, you can't say Zoboomafoo all the time.
That's very true.
But
something about Zabu, I don't know.
The thing that always bugged me about that is the way it's spelled, because it sounds like if you were to write it out, it would be like Zabu. But of course, when I was a kid, I used to always watch with the closed captions on, and they would spell it out Zoboo. So it's like Zobu, and it's like no, it's Zabu.
It's my direct-to-DVD sequel to Zardoz. The penis is bad.
The gun is good.
The lemur is bad. The
Kratts are good.
The Kratts are good.
The suicidal, homicidal, genocidal Zabu is how I would think it was supposed to be spelled. So, of course, he comes in, and I think it was Martin. He's just like, "Zabu never talks until he eats his snack." And I'm just like, dude, I've seen the show.
Well, you know, they gotta, for new listeners, they gotta, just like how we introduce ourselves at the start of every show.
Yeah.
They gotta set up the internal logic. Because you know what? Even kids are like, wait a minute, what? He could talk after he eats?
Right.
What? If you didn't know, you would need a Kratt brother to explain it to you.
And there's always something different. So in this one, it's papaya.
Papaya.
So he doesn't like to eat the seeds, but of course he eats the fruit around the seeds.
One of the Kratt brothers describes as these little bally things, which are seeds. Or seeds, dude. You could have just said seeds.
Yeah, so that definitely gets him talking. They do the little animation of him, and then all of a sudden he's a puppet. And as we've done with every episode, we get the Who Could It Be segment where they get the animation of the, starting from like a little ball of clay into what the animal is.
Who could it be? This animal who I did see. Can you help me guess this mystery?
Did you guess what it was?
I did.
Okay.
I don't know if it was the ghosts telling us what it was at the start of the episode.
Right.
Or the obvious clues during the animation. But by the end, I was like, ooh, I think that's Gengar. I mean, it's a horse.
It's Pikachu.
It's Pikachu. I say that because this is sort of this show's weekly Who's That Pokemon segment.
Who's that Kratt creature?
Who's that Kratt creature?
I don't know. I thought for a while that was going to be a camel, but no, it turned out to be a horse. And then a horse struts into Animal Junction. It's a foal, actually, a younger horse. So they're.
And we like to goof on this show, but
Sure.
I will say it's very effective at being educational.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know a baby horse was called a foal.
I probably forgot it.
It was not in my memory bank.
Like,
So I was like, oh, I'm learning.
If you asked me, I probably wouldn't have been able to tell you that.
I would say pony.
Sure. That's why I probably would have said that too.
Yeah. So I was happy to learn.
So they're they kind of look at the pony the foal. Look, I just made that mistake again.
It's the reason we're not Kratt Brothers.
That's right. Kratt brother understudies, and they decide to name it Fuzz.
Yeah, one of them says Fuzz is a great name. I disagree.
Yeah, Fuzz is a bad name. Fuzz is what it has, not what it is. They just kind of thought that up. I think that was like a Zabu thing. I think he was just like, I'm going to call you Fuzz. And I'm like, yeah, well.
So should we get into this now? I don't really like Zoboomafoo as a character.
Okay, so we've been sitting on this for like 28 episodes, but I kind of agree.
I like the Kratt Brothers.
Like, I didn't want to alienate anybody because,
it is the Zoboomafoo podcast.
I know, we've got all that nostalgia and just like, I kind of grinned and bared it for 27 episodes, but honestly, it's been a long day and just like, no, I'm not really a big fan of Zabu. I'm here more for the Kratt Brothers.
I totally agree. The Kratt Brothers, they have this, you talked about it earlier, they have this sort of wonder that they bring about with them, and it's infectious. Like, I like spending time with them. If I was a kid, I'd be like, yeah, the Kratt Brothers are like, whoa, look at these animals. And I'm like, whoa, it's a baby horse.
They're great. Like, they have a great enthusiasm and charisma that's perfect for a kid's show. It's like in Parks and Recreation when Andy has his Johnny Karate show, and it's just like, this dude is meant to talk to kids because he basically is one. But Chris and Martin have like this really unique kind of way of speaking to kids.
It's infectious.
Yeah, it is. And it's like, it comes across very naturally. It doesn't seem like they're putting it on. And that's saying something, especially because there's like 30-something episodes in this season of Zoboomafoo, which I'm sure that they taped in like a month.
Or a day.
Yeah.
If Eric Andre could tape all of the Eric Andre show in a day, I'm sure that I bet they had the studio time for Animal Junction.
Yikes.
To part the kimono a little bit, I bet they had the studio time for Animal Junction for a lot shorter than you might think, and so all of those segments were filmed in like a day.
That's probably true.
I will say though, like even as an adult, I find the Kratt Brothers, they come off as like people I'd want to hang out with.
Sure.
Like they seem like fun guys.
Yeah.
Especially like think about how hard it must be to muster up that enthusiasm, like you said, after a grueling multi-day shoot over and over and over again. Zoboomafoo, I don't think I'd want to hang out with. He's kind of like.
It's kind of dumb.
He's kind of dumb, and he also carries himself in like an annoying, self-important way where he's like, I'm Zoboomafoo. I know this. I know this. It's me, Zoboomafoo. It's like, oh, Zoboomafoo, my dude. Could you tone it down like 50%
The title of the show is my name. I'm the star.
It's like, maybe, but you only, like, the Kratt Brothers, I think, own the lease to Animal Junction, so, like, they could ask you to leave at any time.
He's like baby's first Sonic the Hedgehog of just like...
Oh, Sonic's so much cooler. Zoboomafoo is not rude, nor is he cool.
So much cooler.
Oh, we do not need to get into this, but I think Sonic the Hedgehog is a pretty radical dude. He is A, the fastest thing alive. B, he loves chili dogs. C, he's got his best friend Tails.
Sure does.
Blue streak, speed of sound, Sonic the Hedgehog.
This was something I never needed to learn about you, and it's my fault. I'm sorry I brought it up. All the same, we can both agree that Zoboomafoo is not the best. But like we say, at least he's kind of anchored by two guys that we'd much rather spend time with. And really, the whole show is, I mean, it is his name on the show, so he's got the stroke, brother.
Yeah.
So he can put himself in as many scenes as he wants to. And of course, a lot of the physical comedy, or the comedy in general, is kind of based around him. And
Well, speaking of which, we got a great moment of physical. This was probably my favorite Zoboomafoo moment in the whole episode. They're sort of playing around the horse and like pointing out different things at the horse and like sort of freaking out about this horse at Animal Junction. And we get a quick shot of Zoboomafoo riding a horse.
yes.
And he's like, a lemur on a horse? That's got to be a first. And I'm like, you know what, Zoboomafoo?
Probably.
You're probably right.
To at least to human history that we've to recorded human history, sure.
Prior to this episode, have you ever seen a lemur on a horse?
No, but I can't prove that it never happened.
True.
But sure, let's just say for the sake of argument, he's right. I don't know. It's like the other thing is that Zoboomafoo's manner of speaking always kind of sticks in my head, and like, and it's not in a good way and not in a bad way. It's just I always remember just like, well, look at that, a horse riding lead. A lemur riding a horse. Well, he does the wah 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 thing a lot.
He's like Steamboat Willie era Mickey Mouse turned up to like 21. So instead of being like, oh, it's me, Mickey, he's like,
and it sounds like a dying trombone or something. He also says Mangatsika, which I've been looking for the definition for this for 27 episodes. It took me some real dark internet
deep
searching.
web. You logged on to Tor, you get onto the Silk Road, and you were like, hey guys, I'm not trying to hire a hitman or anything. I just want to know, what is Zoboomafoo talking about?
That's right. So I found that it's a Malagasy phrase meaning I can't believe my eyes.
Oh. Now, how would... That's really interesting, but it begs the question, I wonder if they ever... I don't remember if they ever explained this in the past 27 episodes or so, but a kid would not know that.
I think it's just something fun to say because, like,
It is kind of fun to say.
kind of sounds like monkey, you know. I will also say that in my exploration through the deep web, I found out that the lemur Zoboomafoo was played by a lemur named Jovian, and he played Zabu until he died 3 years ago.
R.I.P.
He died at the age of 20 of kidney failure.
Oh my goodness, it happens to the best of us.
It hopefully not kidney failure. So after they kind of have some fun with the foal, then we get our first foray into Zabu land of the episode, which is the claymation part of the episode. So he goes into there, and it's a story. Yeah.
Well, so prior to this, we get some of the Zabuland characters seep into the real world.
Yeah, they have a little bit of cameos here and there.
It's left unclear if this is... Like, here's a question I have about Zabuland.
Sure.
Is it an actual physical place, or is all of this in Zoboomafoo's imagination, and he's lying to the Kratt Brothers about these experiences?
You know what? You could make a case for either one.
Because I don't think the Kratt Brothers ever acknowledge the characters that show up from Zabuland. And the way they pop up in the live action sequences is actually really awkward and kind of stilted. I feel like it's to keep kids in, like... If you were like a really ADHD rattled kid and you were starting to get bored of horse facts, a random claymation character being like, you'd be like, whoa, I'm engaged again.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
I didn't like that at all.
No.
It's probably my least favorite part of the show is when the Zabuland characters show up in real life.
Well,
it feels out of place.
Well, actually, when I used to watch Zoboomafoo, I used to watch it basically just for the claymation segments. And so I guess... as a kid, when they would show up in the real world, it'd be just like, don't worry, claymation is coming up soon. Like, we're still here. I'm like, oh, cool. But now it's like, now I'm actually getting more enjoyment out of the live action segments as an adult. And then they're just like, I exist too. Look at me. Look at me. And like, go away. We're talking about horses. Like, you don't belong here. You're not real.
Also, you have like 3 frames of animation. You're like a GIF that just like walked into Animal Junction.
Yeah, they're like a 2001 era GIF.
But I will say, the actual full-on claymation bits, the art style in them is pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's why I liked them so much as a kid. And so the first one in Zabuland, it's Zabu and his pal Bugley, who is like a giant beetle sort of thing.
Who loves to scat.
I was going to say, he is bebopping and scatting all over this episode of Zabuland. He is just like, beep bap a doop zaboomadoop. I'm gappity beep and the boopity dap. Let's flickety fly over the woody woodwa, and then I'll just like, it's literally, that's his speech pattern.
I agree. I got nothing to add. I just want to say I love scatting.
And Yeah.
Not that kind of scat though.
No, don't Google search.
He is a beetle. Now that I think about it, you know what I mean. I wonder if they thought of that when they came up with the character. Like, what do beetles like? Like they like scat.
Yeah, no, it's just Zobuland is him on Bugley. Yeah, no, you're right. I do like the art style. I like how colorful everything is.
Yeah, it reminded me of the animation in Pengu, but Pengu's kind of got muted color tones.
Yeah, Pingu's almost got. It's almost like it's filmed on with less lighting.
But it's also
darker lighting
in Antarctica, or I don't know which pole it's at actually. So I'm showing my ignorance here. I need to watch the penguin episode of Zoboomafoo to learn where the penguins live. But I will say it's like all ice and then black and white penguins, so there's not a lot of opportunities for color.
Yeah. Whereas
Zobuland is completely fictional, so it's got these weird alien scapes. that are pretty interesting to look at.
It reminds me of. This is gonna kill me. There's a PC adventure game that was like all claymation, and it was called the Neverscape, I think. Is the Never something. And, oh, gosh. It's gonna...
claymation part in Beaten Chaos for the GameCube. Beaten Kaitos? Beaten... It's that card...
Batten Kaitos.
Batten Kaitos for the GameCube has a claymation part.
Okay. So, yeah, that's kind of what it reminded me of. So after that one, we get the appearance of the foal's mom. And
there's a hilarious bit there where the Kratt Brothers are like, isn't the foal happy to see their mom? Smash cut to stoned face horses.
Yeah, that's. I wrote that down too. The quote was, "Isn't the foal happy to see her mom?" And I was just like, I guess.
There's a lot of hilarious use of smash cuts, and I think unintentionally hilarious use of smash cuts. Earlier in the episode, there's a part where one of the Kratt Brothers looks directly into the camera, shakes his head, and goes, "That leaping lemur."
Yeah, just they gotta make their own fun.
Well, this begs a question. I was really curious. How much of these sequences do you think is scripted? Because a lot of it feels, I don't know if that's intentional or not. Like, I know they probably blocked out the general plot. Okay, we have this tree in Animal Junction. We got to get it out with this horse. But in between, there's a lot of little asides that feel completely unscripted. Like, when the foal is first introduced, there's all these shots of, the Kratt Brothers being like, whoa, look at this. And then now Zoboomafoo's on the horse. Isn't that crazy? It almost feels like they were like, okay, boys, we're going to film you. Go wild.
Probably a bit more than you might think. I'm just thinking of the fact that, they would have to coordinate an animal being there. They would have to make sure that, they're not spooking it or anything. And they have to make sure that they have, all of the pertinent facts in mind, which, being the Kratt Brothers, maybe they have a better mind for that than I do, but I would, need to be focusing on that first. But I'm sure there's a bit of leeway for them to kind of do their own thing. And, it's not like they're going to go completely blue and off script or something.
I would love to see the behind-the-scene footage, though. Could you imagine? That was, the thing in the back of my mind of this whole episode is, I wonder what the Kratt Brothers are really like.
Yeah. I would love to see an Eric Andre style show with the Kratt Brothers at the helm. Doing the same, it's the same thing as Zoboomafoo, except just crazier.
A little bit of a wink and a nod.
Yeah, absolutely. So then this is the part of the episode where they go to the closet and go on a trip. They go into the closet. They're going on a trip. They're going to the closet to grab their stuff and split.
Oh, wait. Is this the part where they go to the closet?
I think so, because my next...
I think this is... We see a shot of them outside, actually.
Oh, okay, sorry. This is a bit of a cutaway. It wasn't them actually going out.
Yeah, and trust me, the only reason I remember that is because the thing we cut away to is an image that will be seared into my brain until I die.
So it's Chris and Martin having a nice horse ride, and it's lit with very soft lighting, like you said, on that kind of cheaper digital camera. And the way that's lit is very soft Hollywood lighting. It's just if I didn't know that they were brothers, this is very romantic.
Well, they're both riding the same horse.
Yeah.
Two Kratts, one horse.
Ew.
And it almost does look like the cover of a Harlequin novel or something. And they're just having a great time.
Yeah, no, and I think it was like a extended joke about a pony crossing, and then a bunch of ponies go under their horse.
I also want to say I didn't notice until they were on a horse, so they kind of they ride up on them a little bit. The Kratt Brothers shorts are very, 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 very short. I get that they have to do a lot of jumping in the jungle, much like a lemur would. They're active. They need those free calf muscles, but they're almost chubbies. They're so short.
Chubbies. Yeah, no, I didn't. I can't say I noticed. I wasn't really looking at their shorts, but fair enough. Yeah, so sorry, that was a bit of a cutaway. They're not going to the closet just yet because then the foal goes to sleep, and like then they're talking about how horses sleep. So the mama horse will just sleep standing up, and then the foal just kind of, goes on its haunches and goes to sleep, and it looks really cute. I thought that was really cute.
One of the Kratt brothers has that syndrome where they just fall asleep no matter out of nowhere.
Narcolepsy.
Yeah, one of the Kratt brothers has narcolepsy. And
Martin does.
I hope they don't operate heavy machinery or anything like that.
By the way, in case you're confused at this point, Martin is in the blue and Chris is in the green.
I totally lost track, so I'm going to lean on you for that. I also want to say, before the horse falls asleep, two things. One of the Kratt brothers gives the advice, before you pet a horse, always make sure a grown-up says it's okay.
Yeah.
Solid advice.
Yep, solid advice.
Secondly, there's an extended sequence of the horse breastfeeding from its mom, which is a part of nature.
It's true.
But I had the thought sitting to myself reviewing this episode, I'm 22 years old, and I'm watching a YouTube video of a horse breastfeed. What has my life become?
It's like that Simpsons gag when Kent Brockman's doing the news and they just have the file video of the little lamb sucking on the bottle and he just leaves. At one point, Martin compares eye sizes with the horse, and I thought that was pretty funny because it's just like him getting really close up to the horse's face. He's like, look at the eye, and it's just like, ugh.
And Martin's expressions, both of their expressions are really like an unsung hero of this show. Like, there's the way the Kratt brothers talk, but the way they carry themselves, like, they always just have their basic faces like mouth agape with excitement.
And their eyes wide open.
Again, I want to point out this is another great opportunity to be educational. I didn't know that horses had the largest eyes of any land mammal. Another thing this show taught me.
I didn't actually hear that part, so yeah, good stuff. This is where I had the note of the clay animals interrupting, because there's like the one with the long fingers. I forget his name. Just like, my fingernails are for running. I'm like, just shut up. They're trying to teach me something. You don't belong here. You're not real.
You're not of this realm.
Yeah, so eventually we get around to they get the bright idea that they're going to get the mother horse to drag out the tree from Animal Junction so that they can have all of their room back.
Oh, sorry. I'm going to stop you there again.
Yeah.
Is this before or after where they jiggle its face?
I think this is. I think that's after. So go ahead.
Okay, so there is a part where the Kratts jiggle the horse's face
to
show how stretchy its face muscles are, and it got me thinking the horse can't be into this. Now, I'm no horse expert, but okay, we're gonna get a little bit dark here, ladies and gentlemen. Anybody who's rented the Lizard Man to come to your birthday party and show off your animals, knows that these animals are under some sort of sedation.
You know what? I was thinking the same thing. I was wondering what type of sedation that we do for which animals, because
it could be none. The Kratt brothers could be horse whisperers.
Because they have episodes, like, even in the opening, they're like episodes with puppies, and I'm like, oh, puppies, like, they're not going to attack you or anything, but it's like if a horse is spooked, it's going to go kind of nuts.
Well, unless it's super trained.
Right, exactly.
But they are pulling on its face.
So how much of it is training and how much of it is sedation, and which is which with which animal?
Yeah.
So that's a good question. I don't know.
I feel like if you sedated a lemur, it wouldn't be jumping around. So Zoboomafoo is definitely not sedated.
No, that's the thing, is that like neither the horse nor the foal looked really tired.
They didn't really move, though.
No, they didn't move much either. But again, it could be good training, but it's a good question. I'm not really sure. I'm glad you brought that up, though. So they get the horse to drag it out. This is where I kind of looked at the log, and I don't know why I thought it was real in the first place, but I'm just like...
I didn't even consider that the log wasn't real.
But I just kind of looked at it, and like the part of it that was broken was just a little too perfect looking, and I'm like, that's a fake log, right? Like, and then you think about it, just like, yeah, of course it's a fake log. They wouldn't like chop down like you would think that with a show that with heavy environmental message and that's based around animals, they wouldn't chop down a tree to just put in a shot and then have a horse take out. And also, they probably wouldn't want a horse to drag a real tree.
I was a little bit obsessed with the fact, I was too busy thinking about if the Kratt brothers had the proper permits to remove this fallen tree, Or like, what are the laws like in Animal Junction?
The zoning laws?
It's just strange to me.
Zoboomafoo?
The Zaburocracy.
There's the title of the episode. It's about here, I think, that Zabu gets a song in. So I think, like...
Wait, is that... Sorry, again... Is this before or after they almost choke him to death?
Right. So they would have tied up the horse to the tree. Like, this, sorry if we're kind of getting in each other's way here. It's just that Zoboomafoo is more free form. It's like it's like improvisational jazz.
I was just gonna say it's like audio-visual jazz.
Man,
I guess this is as good as time to get into this. The way this show is edited is. I get that you need to edit a show to keep a kid's attention, but there's some parts where it just seems like it's edited almost sloppily. Like there's a lot of jump cuts, and a lot of times people will be edited out of their sentences. Like a shot will interrupt someone's sentence, which is like editing 101 no.
Right.
So it kind of comes off as amateur hour. But I couldn't let you move on without talking about the part where the Kratt Brothers are trying to remove the log, but they almost do it with the rope tied around Zoboomafoo's neck and choke him to death.
I think it was more like it looked like it was around his whole body, including his neck. So he was choking and being like,
but he was like at a lack of oxygen. He was like, "Oh, guys, oh God!"
Yeah, it was a little. It
was kind of morbid.
A little morbid, yeah. But no, he goes into his song about how I feel horseish. Like here, this is a song.
I feel different, not the same. This kind of feeling I can't explain. There's only one thing that I can do. I feel horseish. How about you? Horseish. I feel horseish. Horseish. I'm a fussy little fool and I love to run around. Horseish. I feel horseish. Horseish. I'm a big, strong Belgian. I can move a tree.
It's really bad. Like I don't even remember the tune. It's just like I feel horseish. I feel like a horse. And it like also horseish is a weird series of consonants put together. So it's like I feel horish and like. Ooh.
I wonder if this song would be better if you got like Migos to do it. I feel horses. I don't
know.
I feel horses. What? I feel like a horse. What?
I don't know.
I feel like a horse. Horsey. I feel like.
I don't know who that is.
There's another cadence you could do this with that would make it sound more musically appealing. But the way Zoboomafoo talks.
So the way you did that made me think of like what would I feel horseish be like if it was done by designer.
So okay, you have a very good point of reference. Designer sounds like Future, who kind of sounds like Migos. So you're totally on the right track.
Okay, gotcha.
Some people would say
same ilk.
Migos sounds like Future, so
okay,
it depends on. It's a chicken and the egg scenario.
All right.
But we're all on the same wavelength.
I like cheesecake at night.
There you go.
Cheesecake.
I love cheesecake. At nighttime, real late at night. Cheesecake could do, man. Top it up before you go to sleep.
Unless there's anything else that I missed, I think this is the point where they get the letter from Jackie.
There is a part where the Kratts do their awful horse impressions.
Yeah.
And they're kind of hopping around like they're pretending to be horses.
Yeah, they do that.
That part's terrible.
But also, it's just like to encourage kids at home to do horse noises because all kids like to do
Well, they also encourage kids to chew loudly like a horse in one part, which is like kind of bad advice. It's kind of like why parents would complain about Dora all the time because Dora would be like, and now scream as loud as you can. Scream, children. Scream! So, like, if you had
Did she do that?
No, but she would be like, oh, can you see them? And then, like, if you were a kid, you'd be like, yeah, I see them! And so your parents would be like, God, Dora, shut up. But this part, one of the Kratt Brothers is like, can you chew like a horse? Which I can't imagine parents were so pleased about kids being like, Mom, I can chew like a horse, watch. Yeah.
Go to the phone and dial 911.
Oh my goodness. And then a vulture.
So this is the letter from Jackie, and then a vulture comes in and perches on Martin's head. I was worried because I was like, I don't think that's safe. Like that looks like it might hurt. Because I thought when like a bird perches, they really like dig into a branch or something that they're on. I'm just like, Is it digging into its head? Like, is he okay?
Specifically vultures. I was under the impression that vultures, more so than any other raptor bird, were known for ripping off people's scalps.
Yeah.
So I was like, Mr. Kratt, paging Mr. Kratt, is
Yeah.
that okay? I'm sure it was a trained vulture. I'm sure he was declawed. These Kratt brothers, they're experts.
They're still alive, so
Maybe
clearly,
we have a vulture episode to come that will explain.
that'd be a really boring episode.
I don't know, man. All the corpse eating.
Okay.
The Kratt brothers are like, whoa, look at this dead body. How are we going to get rid of it in the middle of this desert? Oh, you hear that? Rah, rah, rah.
It's like this episode, except instead of a log, it's a dead body.
Exactly. Oh my God, one of the Kratt brothers is like freaking out. He's like, I can't go back to jail, man. We got to get this dead body out of Animal Junction. I got an idea. Let's call our vulture friend.
Let's call Zabu. He'll know what to do.
Oh man, oh no. I ordered a male stripper and he OD'd. Zabu. You really screwed us up this time, Zoboomafoo, you leaping lemur.
Good thing I have a friend in the police department. He'll make this all go under the table in Zabu land.
Zabu, you've been taking that stuff again. This is real life. I don't want to hear about Zabu land no more.
I'll smoke till I die. So this is a letter from Jackie, who is their little girl correspondent out in the real world, and she's having a bit of a horse ride, and then she ends up picking up a styrofoam cup and encourages you to do the same, which is, of course, another good piece of advice. Always pick up after yourself. What'd you think of Jackie?
Jackie seemed pretty charismatic. She made a good point. She said, a styrofoam cup looks like a styrofoam cup to me and you, but to a horse, looks like food. He might try to eat it.
Looks like food to me, pal. Yeah, exactly. And this is what prompts them to go to the closet to go on a trip, because they're going to go out and have some horse adventures of their own.
Right before they do that, this is like probably my favorite dialogue from this whole episode. One of them goes, horses, horses, horses. I love horses. We need to do more stuff with horses. It reminds me of, there's one Noisy episode where it's like they send the guy from Vice to visit I Love McConan in his hood in Atlanta. Okay. And they do shrooms. They do shrooms with I Love McConan. And there's a part where the guy from Vice and I Love McConan are staring up at the sky, and I Love McConan goes, I think we need to have more moon technology. That's what I thought of here when the Kratt brother goes, we need to do more stuff with horses. More horse stuff.
We went to Animal Junction with the Kratt brothers and smoked,
oh my God.
and smoked PCP.
What a great Vice episode that would be. Viceland. We went to Animal Junction. What's Animal Junction really like?
Right. That would be pretty cool. Did you think that the stuff was going to fall on them this time? Because we ask ourselves that every episode.
Yeah, it's like, is the stuff going to fall on them? I was actually surprised how quick this sequence is. In my mind, it takes a lot. There's a lot more whoa, as the stuff all falls on them.
There's a lot more drama.
Maybe they needed to get more horse facts in, but it felt like this was really quick. Like, okay, let's go to the closet. Oh, by the way, the closet song, much better than the horse song. I kind of like the closet song. It was stuck in my head.
Well, because this one is going to be in every episode, so the horse song almost felt like improvised. This one is like, no, we got this down. We composed.
They're going
this.
to the closet and they're heading out the door.
They're going to the closet, they're going on a trip. They're going to the closet to grab their stuff and split. They're going on a cool adventure and they don't know what's in store. They're coming from the closet and they're headed out the door.
So they go on a little bit of a horse adventure. Martin, in the transition from studio camera to digital camera, acquires a Stetson hat and a plaid shirt.
Yeah, we get to see his See Right cowboy outfit. But the other Kratt brother doesn't change his costume at all, which makes it all the more ridiculous. Like, if they were both wearing cowboy outfits, I'd be like, okay, that's funny. They're, like, changing their getup for whatever the theme is. But only one of them, like, Martin was like, I want to be a cowboy. And Chris was like, oh, God.
I want to be a cowboy, baby. I've been watching Vine compilations all week, and that one is on at least half of them.
Speaking about a baby, one of the Kratt brothers goes,
yes.
They start talking about how they feel feel like all these baby animals, like, again, I know I talked earlier about the Kratt Brothers almost speaking like stoners, but that's a very, like, stoner thing to say, to be like, bro, I feel like a baby right now.
Because Martin says, being on the back of this horse makes me feel like a baby baboon riding its mother. And I'm like, what? Dude, it makes you feel like somebody riding a horse. Tone it down.
One of them makes the audacious claim, horses are better than cars.
I wrote this down too. Yeah, no, because he's like, horses can travel up to 45 miles an hour. That's as fast as a car. Horses are better than cars. And I'm like, cars can travel 46 and above. Like, let's not go nuts.
This is what I love about the Kratt Brothers, though, is they have such of like they sound so sure of themselves in whatever crazy, ludicrous statement they make. No matter how incorrect it may be.
They bought into their own BS.
If they were just like, horses are actually our natural predators. Stay away from the horses. They'll conquer us all. I'll be like, God.
Oh, man. Yeah, so, but like they're saying, like, a horse can go anywhere and you just need to feed it and give it water. But it's just like, nah, I'm not going to trade in my car for a horse, my man. And then they do a little bit of a whoa pratfall as they lead a horse to water and make it drink.
I guess if you're watching it as a kid, it could be a fun pratfall, but falling off a horse is no like small deal. I saw Seabiscuit. I know how this could end.
That's how Christopher Reeve got paralyzed.
I know, like. I was worried I knew this was a stunt, and I was legitimately worried for the Kratt Brothers' safety getting thrown off this horse.
Well, when I see like somebody fall off a horse in a movie, like my blood runs cold because I know what can happen. But then they come back to Animal Junction, and there's another surprise waiting for them: zebras.
One of the Kratt Brothers goes, "I love zebra manes." Good to know.
Of course you do. That sounds like a Chris thing to say.
That's so Chris.
That's so
Chris. It's a part of our weekly segment. That's so Chris.
They do actually get into some interesting zebra facts. I liked, when as an adult do I ever put any thought towards zebras?
Besides watching Planet Earth, yeah.
Sure, but I've never seen Planet
Will.
Earth. It's on my list.
It's on my list. Netflix, Will.
It's on my list, dude. I know. But like zebras, they walk together because when they're in a herd, then a lion can't tell one from the other. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Why they're striped.
Yeah.
I also never considered that they were part of the horse family. It seems obvious in retrospect, but I was like, zebras are zebras and horses are horses. But then I was like, oh yeah, zebras are just kind of horses that are colored funny.
And they also, they wag their tail that way because they're brushing flies away from other zebras' faces and from themselves. That's cool. I didn't know that either. Yeah, learning a lot of stuff here.
There was a part where they zoomed in on the zebra's legs, and the Kratt Brothers were like, look how strong the zebra is. It needs to run away from predators. And like these zebras' legs were really... What's it called when you have veins poking out? Viscosity?
Varicose.
Varicose, or
I think so.
Whatever the term is.
It's like
Jinder Mahal.
It's not varicose.
Viscosity?
No, it's not. It's not viscosity. I know exactly. It's not varicose. That's another thing with veins.
Whatever it is.
It's veiny. But,
whatever it was, these were some diesel zebras. Like, I legitimately never considered this because you look at their legs from afar and they look skinny and stuff. But the zebras had like real buff, muscular legs. Like, these zebras were ready to like throw down if need be.
They never skip leg day.
Certainly not.
Then we get to our second dalliance into Zabu land. This one includes a bit more characters than the first time around. There is Gooble and Noggin Drill.
I'm going to say it right here. Noggin Drill is my dude. No. Of all the characters on this show, besides the Kratt Brothers, I like me some Noggin Drill.
I actually think probably one of my Gooble was probably one of my favorites as a kid.
Interesting.
I'm just trying to go off of memory. So it was either
I don't remember as a kid, but now there's two reasons. One, I like Noggin Drill's sort of anxious nature. He's kind of got some like he's got an Eeyore vibe to him.
Well, he's like Eeyore. Noggin Drill's like Eeyore if he sounded like Ted Turner.
Sure.
Because he's just like, oh, Zoboomafoo. Oh, I don't know how I can get up on Zoboomafoosaurus.
I love that about him, and I also think he's got a really cool character design. He's like a dog thing with a drill coming out of his
because
head.
most of the other things are like just animals. He is like a small lion or a bear with a drill for a head, and it's just like this. What kind of puppet master crap is this?
It's such an original looking character, and he's got such a unique manner of speaking, like you said, like Ted Turner.
Original character,
that
do
like
not steal.
Noggin Drill could star in his own series. It wouldn't be as educational as Zoboomafoo, but if you did like the Adventures of Noggin Drill, like 10-minute episodes from Zoboomafoo land, that'd be all right.
You needed to tweak his character a little bit, but sure. And then they run into Zoboomafoosaurus,
Which I might have to add is a terrible name.
Yeah, of course it is.
It's awful. They couldn't think of anything else. I do like how Zoboomafoosaurus doesn't sound like it looks.
Yeah.
Like you have one expectation of
You would
how
think
it's
it
gonna
looks like
sound.
Zoboomafoo is a dinosaur, but no, it just looks like a giant multicolored T-Rex.
But I also mean like its voice doesn't really match what it looks like, but I
Yeah.
like that about it.
Yeah, I like Zoboomafoosaurus. And I noticed that, so the whole thing is like, they want to take a ride on it, but Noggin Drill can't get up there, so Zoboomafoosaurus picks him up by her tail and puts him on. They all get to ride. And I noticed like there's a shot of Zoboomafoosaurus walking away, and the sound it makes when it like stomps is the same noise that bullet bills make in Super Mario World.
Interesting.
It's the gudger, 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 like whenever they get launched. So yeah, there's your second one. And we're coming to the end of the episode here. And I had one question. So, it's the end of the episode. They're kind of talking about how cool horses are, and then we get into the "this animal is a friend of mine" thing. So then it hit me like, okay, so we've got Animal Junction here, which clearly, you'd have to take out a loan for. So my question is, where do we get the money for this open air animal, not even an animal preserve, it's almost more like a bed and breakfast for animals. So you have the Kratt Brothers. They're just kind of general adventurers / animal experts. Are they the Nathan and Sam Drake of the animal world?
Interesting.
Like, where do they get their money?
Like I said at the top of the episode, I took a more supernatural take with it. Like the Kratt Brothers are these they're like the watcher for animals. They're these beings that oversee animal culture. They have to introduce it to the children, and they have their magic junction that travels throughout the world.
Right.
And the main basis I have for this...
Do you mean the doctor?
Exactly. Like, well, the logic for the doctor is different, but they're like a similar... I think the Kratt Brothers are cosmic beings, let's just say. Because they decide to follow the zebras outside the front door of Animal Junction, and they go, one of them goes, "Where's the zebras going anyway?" And the other one goes, "Oh, somewhere in Africa." And it's like, so wait a minute, guys. Are you within walking distance of Africa? Mm-hmm. Or did Animal Junction teleport there?
Yeah.
That's what I like to think. It's the only thing that explains the tree that fell within.
There is no rational explanation for how Animal Junction operates, but how they got it. Like, I don't think the Kratt Brothers themselves are as mythological as you say. I think that
they built it. They're millionaires.
And this sort of, I think that they came into some sort of treasure. And also, like, I was going to say they're opportunists, but that makes them sound like I don't think these guys are shady, but they found this cool opportunity from, like, your wandering space deity of just, like, here is this time and space junction. And just like, we're going to use it to meet animals and learn all about them. And it's just like, wow, I thought you were going to use it for crime or something.
I see what you're saying. So you're saying Animal Junction is inherently magic.
Yes.
But the Kratt Brothers are normal humans that, like, they were searching for Aztec gold or something, and they happened upon... Animal Junction was there before
and it
them.
was gifted to them because they are pure of heart enough that they won't be corrupted by this amazing power, which you could use for literally anything.
It's true. They're not interested in money whatsoever.
No,
they just like hanging out with animals.
No, they're driven by knowledge and the love of nature. So I think that they're people who deserve to have the magical construct that is their christened Animal Junction. I think it's just the Junction would be what it's called. Just like, it's Animal Junction because we're bringing in all the animals.
Well, after 27 episodes, I'm glad we finally gotten to the bottom of this.
Absolutely. Did you have anything before we get into our feelings on this episode?
No, let's get to the review segment.
Okay, so this episode, horses. What'd you think?
I wrote a lot about this. So in conclusion, I'm torn.
Okay,
I'll start with the negative, and then I'll get into the positive.
go on. Yeah.
I don't think this show holds up very well from a visual perspective. The outdoor shots look really, really terrible in 2017. And the editing is like really bizarrely amateurish. You know what I'm trying to say.
Amateurish, yeah.
Amateur. As someone who's edited video before, it breaks all sorts of rules of video editing in terms of smash cuts, jump cuts, cutting off people's sentences. I found the mixing of the audio to be really weird, especially with like the ADR, as we mentioned earlier at the top of the episode. And sometimes things are edited in where like the space of things is really hard to understand. It's like, okay, so the Kratt Brothers are over here, and now we're cutting to Zoboomafoo. I also think the way that the claymation characters, when they come in real life, I get that it's like, oh, we got to keep things frenetic so the kids like, oh, the claymation's still there. You're not learning too much. But as an adult looking back, it makes it downright almost unwatchable in those segments. You're like, oh, get that thing off my screen. Though, I think there's lots of positive things. Oh, yeah, one more negative thing I want to say is that Zoboomafoo's manner of speaking, his voice, the fact that he's really useless and doesn't come up with any good ideas. Like, there's one part where the Kratt Brothers are like, Zoboomafoo, what do you think we should do? And he goes, well, I think we got to get this tree out of here. It's like, okay.
Thanks.
Thanks. Like, Zoboomafoo just kind of seems like a moron that hangs out with the Kratt Brothers. The Kratt Brothers are really the brains of that outfit.
Right.
And so I found Zoboomafoo's character to be super annoying.
Okay.
On the other hand, I, as an adult, got a huge kick out of the Kratt Brothers. Their positivity is infectious. Their curious wonder that they look at everything with, again, infectious. But I also like looking at it as an adult and just being like, these guys seem like cool guys to hang out with. I love their laid-back California attitude. Whoa, it's a horse. Yeah, guys, I'd be like, whoa, a horse, if a horse showed up at my magical junction as well. So I liked that about them. They're very charismatic. I like how the show is very successful at being educational. I never felt like the educational bits were getting in the way. In fact, as an adult, those were my favorite parts of the episode because I was actually learning. As someone who watches Planet Earth at the age of 22, it's kind of more heady. Planet Earth's something you could really sink your teeth into as compared to this. But I still got that same joy from like, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that a baby horse was called that. So I liked those segments. I liked learning things at 22. So I'll say I'll say this. I really don't really like watching this show too much.
Right.
But there's things I can appreciate about it.
Well, I mean, it's too bad that we committed to watching the rest of the show because
It's true.
It's gonna be a little while before we're done with it. I mean, listen, we've been talking about how we feel about Zoboomafoo for 27 episodes before this. I know that's getting old. We've gotten a lot of complaints through email, through Facebook, especially through the Tumblr community. We've gotten a lot of complaints about how we kind of rag on Zoboomafoo.
No Zoboomafoo meme alerts this episode.
No, I was kind of surprised. So I wanted to get the positives out of the way as well. Like the Kratt Brothers, it's funny because I mentioned earlier that when I was little, I used to always like to watch for Zoboomafoo and for the Zobuland parts. Those are my favorites. And I actually kind of didn't like the live action parts. Now as an adult, I find that the thing that I keep coming back for is the Kratt Brothers. Like the Kratt Brothers are really engaging, and I appreciate that it's meant to be engaging for younger kids, but in being so enthusiastic about this subject, which can captivate anybody of any age, then it ends up being really interesting for me as well. And I genuinely like learning like facts about animals and stuff because that's kind of something that you never really do naturally as an adult. Like learn just facts about other things that aren't random pop culture minutia that you don't ever really need to use, but like actual useful stuff like about animals. I thought that was really cool. The technical stuff I don't have as much of a mind for it as you do, so that wasn't what entered into my mind. But kind of, I mean, I've been saying this for the entirety of this podcast, like I don't like it. Like, it's just, there's lots of quality kids programming out there, and I don't even want to say that this isn't quality, because I think that this is, it serves a need of just like education and fun. But it really strikes me every week of just like, man, I have no reason to be watching this as an adult. And we'll continue to do so with Zoboomadudes here. And like, I don't want to bring the podcast down or anything. It's just like, if I didn't decide last year that like, hey, I'm going to see this through Zoboomadudes, then I wouldn't be continuing to watch it, just because there's nothing for me here. And a lot of the stuff is like, you know, like Zoboomafoo himself, and just like, oh, this is annoying, he's singing a song, or like, this is really kind of awkward in a way that's kind of fun, but also not real, like not fun enough for me to sink my teeth into, but just like a little awkward, so it's a little funny, but not enough that I would want to watch every week, except I have been.
If only there was like a more substantial TV show from the 90s era of PBS programming we could sink our teeth
it's funny
into every
it's funny
episode.
because watching this, I'm just like, maybe they were all bad. Like, maybe, and granted, like you would never go back to like Barney and like expect it to be, but I kind of had a bit of higher hopes for Zoboomafoo, and I'm not sure why, because I feel like, so with like this, it all has to be the same. Like, they all have to be of basically the same quality, because they were all written for kids. So this one was written and performed in a very simple way, so that kids of every age can understand it. Like, there's no other show, animated or otherwise, that would speak to kids in a way that actually is kind of mature, in a way that doesn't speak down to them, but can also speak across generations, so that its message can be received by people of all different ages, not just kids. It can't be. It's not like, this convinces me that it's not possible. Like, we could have chosen any other show.
Cyber Chase, Zoom, none of them.
The Sesame Street,
Well,
Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Well, maybe it's Sesame Street, but
yeah.
I'm not even sure about that.
Yeah.
Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, like all that stuff. There's nothing, I'm convinced that there's nothing from 1990, like, to, let's say, the mid-2000s that we could have done, and certainly nothing that's still going on would really ever be worth doing a podcast about. So, do I regret doing Zoboomadudes? A little bit, but, you know, I'm really going to see this through. I paid the money. And yeah, we're gonna keep doing it. So sorry to be a little bit of a dour note there, but I mean, hey, at least I have fun talking about it with you. That was fun. And next week we'll be talking about the next Zoboomafoo episode, and that's gonna be bath time.
Wait, 3, 2, 1.
Bath time. That's right. We'll be talking about bath time.
I hope to see a bathing baboon.
I don't know what they're gonna be giving a bath. Maybe a puppy. That'd be fun. Thanks for listening to this episode of Zoboomadudes. Unfortunately, we've decided to take the lines of communication down for this week. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. The reason I'm going to be taking a vacation, and the reason I have is that I've been super stressed out because everybody has been emailing us, Facebooking us, looking us up on Twitter and on Tumblr, and even on Reddit, I hear. And they're complaining about the Zoboomafoo podcast that does nothing but just crap all over the show. And I'm tired of hearing it, guys. So for this next week, I'm going to take a little bit of a mental health break. I'm not going to check any of that.
That's right. We're not going to be checking Zoboomadudes.zone. So do not email Zoboomafoo. Don't email Zoboomafoods either. That's our separate supplementary podcast all about the food of Zoboomafoo.
Yes.
But also don't email Zoboomadudes.zone. It's just going to give you a bounce back.
Yeah, our GeoCity site is actually going to be going down. I need you to find me the JPEG of the under construction GIF.
Yeah, I'm on that.
Just because I need people to know not to sign the guest book in the next week, because we can't do that. Yeah, so thank you for joining us for Zoboomadudes. And yeah, of course you can find us on iTunes and SoundCloud. I'm getting a lot of negative reviews over on iTunes, but like I said, we're gonna stick this out. Zoboomadudes. We've got more episodes to go, and we're gonna get to it. Bath time is next week, and yeah, thank you very much for joining us. Lucas, do you have anything more to say?
We're going to the closet. We're heading out the door.
So for Lucas Mancini, my name is Will Young. That is Zoboomadudes for this week. Oh, Lucas, I think there's one more thing we gotta say.
Oh yeah. I just wanted to say,
April Fools!
We're the Episodic Arthur podcast. We'll be back next week.
Zoboomafoo sucks.
Zoboomafoo.
I like the Kratt Brothers, though. They're cool. They could chill. I love horses. I love horses, horses, horses. Can't stop thinking about horses.
horses in Atlanta.
I got horses in Atlanta. I love those horses.